already pretty much all done it out. I wanted to talk just real briefly about the National Rendezvous and a couple of things that happened. You'll see some pictures up there. I looked a little different. Sharon's glad I don't look like that anymore. So I want to talk about some things that happened and give Ben an opportunity to talk. But one of the things that happened is when somebody comes in to FCF, you know, they usually get a couple of things like I gave Ben my shirt and my haversack and made a knife cover for him. We worked together on his belt. So he's got a couple things that he got from when he came in and whatnot. But then as we traveled on the road and got to the National Rendezvous, we were traveling with Jerry Manning, who's pastor of New River Assembly of God up in New River, and then the vice president for FCF, which is Daryl Hart. And they were sort of like blessing this young man with things. They gave him this fine-looking Bobcat hat. They gave him his moccasins. And he was pretty much all outfitted by the time we got there and started doing our events. And we just had a great time. As you can see, we did a lot of stuff together. And he got a tan. It was actually real nice. God bless us with great weather there. But we had a great time traveling. We were gone for an entire week. I believe this was Ben's first time away from his family for something like this. He's always been with the family. And I want to say that I'm very proud of this young man. He ported himself well. He had a great time. The hardest time I had was keeping track of him during the altar service at night, because we had 900 people at Rendezvous, and when they called the altar service down and people went down there, he disappeared. And the first night I couldn't find him. I said, he's down in there somewhere. And I waited and waited and waited for an hour, and finally he came back up. So the next night I went down there and was near him, and just he had a great time. You can see one of the pictures, he was praying there. God really moved on. I'm going to let him talk a little bit about something that happened to him. He was recently during youth camp filled with the Holy Spirit. Is that right, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to tell me what happened to you while you were in National Rendezvous and you were up worshiping.
Okay. So youth camp, it was when I got filled with the Holy Spirit. It was just kind of like little phrases, and I would talk to people. That's pretty much it. But then when we got to FCF Rendezvous, the experience was much more intimate, because it wasn't all distraction. It wasn't the big light show that's at youth camp with the fog machine. Don't know why I think fog machine things. I don't get it. But when we were up there, it was much closer to God. So the first night, I didn't really speak in tongues. Nothing like that happened. I just prayed with people. Which there was one kid. We're all in a group. They're all kind of huddled around, and I was about to pray for this one kid, but he walked away. So I walked in his direction. But he went, and I didn't find him. But I found a group of kids, and they're all praying together. And so I went to pray with them, and we started crying. It was all sorts of emotional. But that was the first night. And the second night, I went up there, and it was, I guess, Holy Spirit night. It's close to describe, like, where everybody's trying to get that. So I went up there, and the entire time I was standing, trying to get to Holy Spirit, but I didn't really get it. The next night, it was just there. We were singing, and then it slowly turned from me singing the words into me singing tongues, which was really awesome. And I also prayed with this kid who was like slaying the Holy Spirit, like lying on the floor. That was really intense.
So yeah, I got to sit there and watch some of that. That's always probably my greatest joy, is watching young men like him down there and having God work in their life like that. So I have a couple other things to give Ben. He got one of these, but it wasn't really somebody just gave him one. This is a necklace. It's got teeth on it, and it's got the medallion from our territory, and it'll fit our Zaki design. You can take your hat off and put that on if you want. This other one, we're not going to have you change shirts. But while he was gone, my wife did something out of character. She did something mountain man related, and she made a shirt. This is her first shirt that she's ever made, and it's for Ben. It was his size. It's a medium, and it's pretty cool. I like the color. It's got some antler buttons. And they'll actually work, because I sewed them on myself then, so you won't be like going, how come this thing won't work? So, and so these were Ben, and I just wanted to say how proud I am of him, and that we had a great time. Let you know that God was moving even in Missouri. So.
Even in Missouri? Wow.
It was actually nice.
So next is Dale. No, there's no video. That was introducing pastors.